Hello everyone, so we are in our dry fasting retreat in the Swiss Alps. Today we have a special guest, Marc, who finished his dry fast 3 days ago, 2 days, 3 days, third day of refeeding, and several have reached 9 days. So 9 days of dry fasting without eating or drinking in the Swiss Alps. So extraordinary. So Marc is going to say a few words to us. First thing, how did this retreat go? Do you already feel things shifting, benefits, a sense of lightness? First question, how did this retreat go for you? Difficult. I know you have experience with juice diets. Here, you took it to the next level with dry fasting. Can you tell us about the dry fast?
Very gladly, Michel. Actually, my name is Marc. I'm 59 years old. And I am very familiar with fasting, but water fasting. So I've done several Buchinger fasts over the past 4 to 5 years. I go about twice a year. And initially, I did 7 days, break time. Then I found that it wasn't enough. So I did 10 days, break time. And then after a while, all these juices, sauerkraut juice in the morning, or apple juice, or juice of I don't know what in the evening, it didn't suit me. Something wasn't right, I thought. I felt good coming out, which means I was lighter. Since I'm a bon vivant, I love to party. I have some extra weight, so indeed I love living. And so doing a fast that lightens, it feels good. But I did not feel anything curative. In fact, I searched, I looked, I questioned myself, I read, I watched videos on the internet, etc. And I came across Michel's first book, which I read with great attention, which corresponded to some things I had already heard and read. Naturally, Michel comes from the Russian school, so he comes from the foundation and cradle of this therapy. And I decided to start doing dry fasts a little once a week from time to time, etc. And I found that it suited me very well. One day I was in Cameroon at home and I did 3 days of dry fasting. Oh, I was a bit, in a way, in lethargy because I didn't know I had to move. I thought I had to stay still, so I was a bit out of it at the time. Afterwards, I did another 3 days once with a different mindset. It went well. And during my last treatment where I went with my wife, I had a treatment in Austria. Well, I decided to do 4 days. I wanted to do 5 days of dry fasting. And so I spent 1 day, 2 days, and unfortunately, I spoke to the owner to tell her that I was going to do a dry fast. And then she was going to call the police. She said to me, "But sir, it's not possible, Marc, you can't do that, you'll die," I said. "But Marita, when you started water fasting, you yourself said that you couldn't do water fasting, and the doctors refused you that." So I did my 4 days of dry fasting in secret, pretending to drink, and then finally I arrived very well, but I stopped after a while because everyone was drinking. I stopped for 4 days, and then I was really looking forward to coming here to the mountains and to meet Michel, whom I had contacted via WhatsApp before because I was very interested in his book. He is someone who has lived through a lot of experiences, someone who has experimented. I like people who experiment, who try things on themselves, because it's good to tell others, but it's better to do it yourself first and then show others. I believe you did that, and so I made an appointment for this fast here. I didn't know how long I would do it. I thought maybe I would do 7 days, 6 days, but I still intended to do 9, 10 days. So there you have it. Well, after 10 days, I didn't do it because Michel told me it's okay. That's enough. And actually, I managed to do 9 days, but in a way, very, very simple and very easy. In fact, we have an advantage in this lifestyle you offer us, which is having a group, first of all, and having incredible motivation. Every morning we have yoga, in the evening we have discussions, we can relax. Nothing is imposed, no one tells us. You're not telling us, "Listen, Marc, come do this, come do that." No, everyone does as they please. If someone has the courage to go do 20 kilometers of challenges, they do it If they have the courage to do 2, they do it. And I felt very, very free and very comfortable in this workshop. Lots of sympathy, lots of emotion, people who cried, people who laughed. We truly lived. We part tomorrow for me, and the day after tomorrow for some, with a heavy heart, because we formed a very beautiful team. And these young people have been fantastic. I think others will share their testimonies. I don't have any special condition. I have a bit of prediabetes, it's true, which is disappearing. And I indeed, my weight problem, as you may have noticed, but which will also disappear. And in any case, as I leave here, I leave with full gratitude. You know, in life, there are people who sometimes fight against windmills, break time. It's a bit like what naturopaths are doing currently in France, in Switzerland, and everywhere, more in France than elsewhere. It's that they are fighting against certain medical boards who think they know everything, who have all the knowledge. Whereas today we see that the decisions that have been made regarding many things are a disaster. I take the example of COVID, Michel, where all these vaccinated people around me are in such distress. My own son, who is 28, named Killian, is unwell. He's not well. He's not in good health, because in the army they told him, go get vaccinated. I'll get my health pass to do my activities. Of course, we're not trying to say vaccinate, don't vaccinate. That's not it. But I mean, it's those people who lecture us and condemn these people, and I really say that. I have full appreciation for you, Michel, and for Marie-Christine as well, who is an extraordinary psychological companion. A French woman who truly has a heart of gold. I have full appreciation for you because you are courageous people. And I would like to tell you that perhaps I don't have that kind of courage, but you keep going. I have already bought 5 books to give away everywhere, and I will buy more. And you know, when we are so happy about something, we feel so good. And we know we've perhaps given ourselves 10, 15, 20 more years of life. I will continue. But you want to offer it to everyone. You want to give it. You want to share it. And by buying your books, it's my desire to give. And if I could, I hope my wife will come in a few years, but I want her to come. I want to spend here for her, because that's what's essential. And today we're being called to pharmacies, we're being called to medications, statins, rooms. So it confuses everyone with expenses, everyone is there, doctors, things and so on. But I don't want that. I'm 59 today. I want to age well. If I live to 80, 90, I want to be well. And I want to die in my bed, in peace, in good health. And sincerely, Michel, this method is absolutely revolutionary, truly.
Yes, well, thank you. It's nice to hear you say those words. It's true that what we do here is simply about health, whereas allopathic medicine otherwise discard it because in emergencies it has its role to play, but in chronic issues we realize it hits a wall. There are plenty of people with conditions who have undergone all the chemotherapy, excessive medication, etc. Then we clearly see that it's a vicious circle and there is no response from allopathic medicine for chronic deaths on the conditions. Allopathic medicine can do absolutely nothing. So fasting is a powerful tool. This year we have really developed the psycho-emotional aspect a lot. So there have been several emotional releases. It was also touching for me to see that. I really thank you for these words. I wanted to discuss with you about the place. Did you feel good in this new place we're discovering here in the mountain? And also a few words about the support. How did you feel? Did you feel safe during this fast? Did you feel comfortable in this new place we're discovering here in the mountains? And then that's an aspect that is very important to me. Can you say a few words?
No, but in terms of safety, I never had any doubts about anything. A little thirsty. On the 8th day, 9th, we always have a bit of a dry mouth. You shouldn't talk too much, which is a bit difficult for me, so you have to keep quiet. But actually, I never doubted anything. And the place here is fantastic because indeed, as Michel says, it is full of energy. with this mountain range in front. But I have invited for, I think next year or the year after, we'll see how it goes, Michel to Cameroon or Abidjan, because there are many people waiting for him there. I will organize a workshop that he will lead. I can tell you that we'll feel very good in Abidjan, we'll feel very good in Yaoundé, we're by the sea. So I think with all sincerity that we feel good where the good is, and the good is there. And so for me, I've already made an appointment for the treatment in Spain. I believe you did.
There, from the 20th to the 30th of April 2024. So it will be in the countryside, but not far from the sea, in a place in the countryside. And there we have already booked the places in a country house. It will be a nice rest.
So I'll be there, and I wanted to add one more thing. Actually, the real reason for my presence at this treatment, at least the deepest reason, I find that this world is going bad, very bad. And I've seen it in France, in Africa, in Switzerland. We were starting to run out of medicine in the pharmacies, and there is increasing pressure everywhere. The war is beginning to arrive, things are starting to happen, and I've always thought, but will we always have this arsenal? You know, I'm Swiss. In Switzerland, we have sayings that mean always having this arsenal to sweep things under the rug. And I believe that one day it will stop. But when we no longer have all this medication, how will people suffer? So I thought to myself, if there is a therapy that exists without medication, that costs nothing, that only requires willpower, I want to take it. And when I arrived on the first day, what do you expect from me? I said, I'm here to steal from you. I'm here to steal your knowledge. Because I want to spread the word further. I want African therapists to be trained in this. I want people to change. I want people to regain their health. We have the problem of malaria in Africa. We said to ourselves, we don't know if it works with fasting, but we're going to try it. But these are extraordinary hopes, and there are so many things. And I see in Africa how many people have been opposed because we imported Artemisia. Artemisia was banned in Senegal, and in the countries, maybe it's not Senegal, but in many countries where Artemisia shipments were blocked at the port so that people could treat themselves.
They will treat themselves.
It's outrageous.
When we have a very good plant that is very effective, we can also use it in preparation for dry fasting. It's very interesting.
Completely.
Because people are full of parasites, and dry fasting is a very good method to remove parasites. We've seen cases where people expel tapeworms, roundworms, etc. So dry fasting really helps calm things down regarding bacterial issues. As for malaria, I haven't had any experience. It works very well for malaria. Regarding dry fasting, we'll test all that, and if we have the opportunity, we'll investigate and explore further. I experiment with a lot of things. Indeed, I practice all this on myself, so I'm always curious. And dry fasting is a method that's constantly evolving. We haven't remained stuck on the original low ration method, but I always try to develop and bring new things. We've made changes to the dietary intake, trying to eliminate seeds because they're hard to digest. We're trying to adapt. We've found some current trends, etc. We provide dietary supplements upon exit, trying to find what's best. So by following the latest research developments, we also use neuroscience in the meditation part, aiming for people to release emotions. So all of this has been integrated into the treatments now. We also have the contribution of Marie-Christine, who is there to support and always ready to respond to all the requests people have. And here I am, also available for everyone. So that's what we're putting in place. And indeed, health is something we learn. So people come here, if they've done a detox, they more or less know how to manage afterwards. And if they want to come back, they're more than welcome. And indeed, the group's energy makes a huge difference. There's a big difference between fasting alone at home and joining a group where there's quite an impressive energy.
Yes, and among honest people, I want to say one more thing. This kind of therapist, Michel, doesn't deserve snoopers, judges, etc. If people don't believe in fasting as a sect, it's not a problem. It's not a religion, it's not a sect. I'm not sectarian, I'm a bon vivant, a man of life. And I love everything. I love spirituality, etc. But I hate religions and sects. So if someone wants to come and judge, let them be young enough or practical enough, I do not know what, etc. And we do not have innate knowledge. Michel changes from year to year. I'll give an example. In the book it says you can do an enema beforehand. Yes or no, it doesn't matter. I would personally say that I tend to think it should be done because I felt a bit of discomfort when I tried not to do it, and I was uncomfortable, so it changes. So we are among honest people. We are among those who want the good of humanity and not those who want to accumulate money to be able to say I am, I did, I, etc. So that's very important. So frankly, go search, browse the internet, look, read, order books. And when you have the courage, make a phone consultation. I don't work for him, I'm not his salesperson. But truly,
one must be humble, that's all in this therapy, and then you must be at the service of the person, that's the priority. And then the other point is safety, and then the information. Afterwards, we provide knowledge. People go home, they know what to do, they've received a booklet, everything is explained in it. There have been conferences on health, on It's Not Over, we have more on personal development. We try to mix that, but always leaving space for people to breathe and then live their treatment too, because it's a treatment rich in inner work. There are emotional releases, it's not just physical.
I hope you will increase your pace to 3 treatments per year, because right now you're starting to get full everywhere.
We had to turn people away, and there might be an additional treatment here in August, it's possible. But for now we're proceeding by taking the opportunities I have.
And it was also important for people not to hide their conditions, not to come with undisclosed conditions.
What I really recommend for people who come is to truly say what they have, to be honest. And there have been people who hid things, which is not wise either. Afterwards, it can backfire on them and on me too. So the idea is to be honest, to really say what's wrong, if there's anything. Thank you, dear friend. Thank you, Michel, for everything. I wish you all the best, and there might be more testimonials. Thank you all.